Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Okay, today we're going to talk about our epic Icelandic vacation. Um, we went in last couple days of May and into June. We stayed there for 12 days, and in that 12 days, we went about 2,500 miles. So we're going to give you the epic details of all the planning, all what happened, everything we did on every day, and show you exactly what we did here. All right, so on this episode, I have my lovely wife with me. She did a lot of the planning and stuff like that for this trip. So we brought her on here to talk about what happened. So this all started off about a year ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
We decided we wanted to go to Iceland, and then you had found some cheap plane tickets, right?
Right. Started with the plane tickets.
And we get a direct flight from Denver to Reykjavik. So obviously that makes it a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, we started planning everything out. The rental cars, Airbnbs, hotels, all that stuff, where we wanted to go, everything like that. And it kind of came down to what we wanted to do because we had been there before in 2016.
Mm-hmm. For one
Based,
day,
well, I thought it was like two. I think it was like a
two
weekend.
nights,
Yeah.
one day.
Um, and we were coming from a conference in England, flying home, and we just stayed an extra day or two over there. While we were there, we saw some cool stuff. We went snorkeling in the Sulphur Crack and stuff like that. But we wanted to go back. We found out there's a whole bunch more Iceland that we didn't get to see. So, on that note, we started planning, and it was like, well, what do we want to do? What do we want to see? Um, her thing was she wanted to see all the Game of Thrones stuff. If you don't know, a lot of Game of Thrones was filmed in Iceland,
Mm-hmm.
so there was a lot of Game of Thrones stuff to see. Um, me, I wanted to go pick up some rocks. One rock in particular called the Husfell Stone. It's a pretty famous stone, talking about strongman stuff, things like that. So I wanted to go do that. And then we wanted to see a whole bunch of other stuff, in there as well. All the popular stuff. So basically, I started training for the Husfell Stone, and she started planning all the rest of the stuff out. We kind of looked at where everything was on the map first and foremost, and then kind of planned out a little bit of our hotels, Airbnbs, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of got a rental car pretty quick
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't know, all the stuff in Iceland's like a hot spot for tourism. So all this stuff gets sold out really quick. So we booked our rental car like 9 months out, something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
We settled on what was it?
Toyota RAV4
Toyota
hybrid
RAV4 hybrid.
because gas.
Yeah, we settled on a Toyota RAV4 hybrid, small little SUV. We got the hybrid because of gas. Because if you don't know, gas over there is about $4 a liter, which roughly equates to about $12 a gallon. So we paid a lot of gas, but the hybrid helped out a lot. I started training for the Husfell Stone. If you don't know, we'll throw a video in there when we get to it, but it's a 409-pound stone that you're supposed to lift up. And then once we kind of broke out a map and located where everything was at on the map, we did that through a few different sources.
Mm-hmm.
One was YouTube. We went to a ton of YouTube videos. I can't even name them all. We just typed in Iceland, and went to a ton of YouTube stuff to find out where everything was located. We just Googled stuff, things like that, and we got one of these National Geographic maps of Iceland adventure travel map
From Amazon.
from Amazon for a couple bucks. And we basically, let me open it up here. We got on here and I don't know if you can see all the little tabs on there. This is half Iceland. This is the other half. And what we did was we went on there and tabbed everywhere we wanted to go. So we spent a lot of time looking at different stuff, seeing where we wanted to go, and just taking little sticky notes and going all over the map with it.
Mhm.
From there, I spent, I don't even know how long, figuring out the distances between one area to another area and the drive time.
Mhm.
Obviously, roughly, just estimate. From there, we started getting Airbnbs. Some things we were looking for in Airbnbs was washer and dryer, obviously like kitchen, things like that. And then you were looking for hot tubs specifically,
Right.
because a lot of those places over
Right.
there have hot tubs.
Right. And we didn't want to have to carry a whole 12 days worth of clothes. So we needed to carry less clothes so we could bring back stuff in our suitcase. And we had to do Airbnbs because the hotels there are just like European hotels where if you have 2 children with you, you can't get 2 beds in one room. You have to get 2 rooms, and that gets really expensive. So the Airbnbs were much, much cheaper. For example, our Airbnb in Reykjavik for 4 days was $1,400.
And the hotels in Europe are like about that big.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was a dog. Freya. Place. Stay. So we did all that. That was many, many months worth of stuff, because every time we would say, okay, we want to do this, we find something else to do. And then all of a sudden we find something else to do. And then it was like, okay, well, this volcano's going off. Can we even go to this place? This says you have to have 4-wheel drive to get there. Can we go there? All this stuff.
Right. Also, we knew that we would want to stop at places that we just randomly saw as well. So when we were planning the timings of the days, leaving some time for either going back to something or seeing something we didn't already realize was there was important too.
Yep. So we got all that stuff done. One thing with the rental car, when we got the rental car, they give you like a ton of options. I can't even remember what's the rental car place that we went to. Do you know?
Northbound IS. Northbound.
That's where
IS.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we got the rental car. We in Reykjavik, they just hold up a little sign, has your name on it.
When you come out, they are ready for you.
Yeah, and they take you to the rental car place.
Right.
Super easy. Anyway, so when you reserve the rental car, they ask you if you want GPS in your rental car. Most people say yes. They ask you if you want Wi-Fi, and all this other stuff. So we got pretty much everything you could with the rental car, including the insurance, right?
Right. So the regular insurance doesn't cover you up to the first $2,500. So they recommend this $500 insurance. And I thought, since we're driving this car all over the country in the back roads, we should have it. So we went ahead and got it in case anything happened.
The GPS was a lot of the stuff that you want to go see is off the beaten path. So when you try to put it in the GPS, it's not in there. So that ended up not working.
Some of the roads are new.
Yeah, some of the roads are new. It didn't work out all that great. What did work good was the Wi-Fi. It's just a little Wi-Fi hockey puck that you plug into the car, the little USB plug-in.
A 4G LTE hub.
That worked awesome. It worked everywhere on the island. We were actually able to take it into like restaurants, and I had like a little charging station, plug it into the charging station. Everybody's able to use Wi-Fi, and all the restaurants.
The boys were streaming the whole time, in the car streaming. It was awesome.
All the Airbnbs we went to, we plugged it into the wall. It worked just fine. So we had Wi-Fi everywhere we went.
Coast to coast.
Most restaurants have Wi-Fi, but our little hockey puck Wi-Fi, because it was just us on there, worked amazing. So that was awesome. Well, let's see. Gas stations. Okay, so all the YouTube stuff that we saw, a lot of them said the same thing. A lot of them said you had to have a PIN code for your card.
If it was a credit card.
Like a credit card, you had to have a PIN number for it. And a lot of them said you had to pick the amount of gas you're getting beforehand. So yes and no. The PIN code, we only had to use that a couple times, right?
Yeah, twice out of the whole trip, I think.
Yeah, like only a couple times. Now, but we did have to pick, the amount of gas that we got. And that was 2
or 3 times.
Hit or miss. A lot of times you just select the biggest one, and either it stops at that or you don't get to it. It doesn't matter because they don't charge you for all of it, obviously, if you don't use it, but we did have to pick it sometimes. And they have, like, I want to say 4 different options, like, not very much gas, a little bit of gas, some gas, and a bunch of gas. That's it. So we got that. A couple other things they were saying about gas stations. One person said that they were very sporadic, like they didn't have any gas stations, which is completely untrue. We found a website, I can't remember the name of it, but if you Google, Icelandic gas stations map, dude, there are gas stations literally everywhere, all over the country. You don't have to worry about that. Some of them don't have anything there but the gas station. There's no place to take a piss. There's no place to get food. There's nothing. Literally just a pump.
Yeah.
Some of them are like a full-blown restaurant where you can buy sandwiches, ice cream, hot dogs, all that stuff. Speaking of hot dogs, one person said that every gas station had hot dogs. Again, not true. A lot of them don't.
We strove to find the hot dogs.
Yeah,
we had a hard time.
Yeah, so not all of them have the hot dogs. Hot dogs are pretty good. They're like lamb hot dogs, pretty tasty. But they're like $8 a pop.
Maybe in the Reykjavik area and in the south there were hot dogs, but if you were going anywhere else, you weren't going to find them everywhere.
So before we did any of this stuff, we got on all the YouTubes, the travel channels, all the websites, and checked all this stuff out. We got a ton of information from all that. And like I said, then we went to the map, we tagged everything, and we spent a lot of time, or I spent a lot of time going through all stuff, and then tagging everything, seeing where stuff was, renaming stuff, all that good stuff. And then we're like, well, hey, what clothes are we going to take? Because Iceland is not known for being very hot and bothersome, and it's known for rainy and snowy stuff. So what are we going to do? Because we have a 50-pound bag limit. We got 4 people. So how are we going to do that? So that was a few months process as well. We actually made a list of stuff that we wanted to take to make sure we had rain jackets, coats, things of that nature, rain pants, because we didn't know what we were going to encounter. And it's a good thing we did all that, because as you're going to see here in a little bit, it worked out very well. Let's see. And also on your bags, you don't want to pack 50 pounds exactly, because you want to leave a little bit extra room for the crap you're going to bring home. Everybody's going to buy souvenirs. You're going to bring stuff home, obviously, right? Let's see. The plane, we flew Iceland Air. We've flown it a few times. It's been great. I only had two complaints, and then one thing on our part was the headphones. They have the old school plug-in headphones still. We didn't have them, so we had to buy them on the flight. Yeah, no big deal. I had the middle seat both times, which sucked because the middle seat underneath of it has a hump. So you can't fit your carry-on underneath the front seat in front of you, which sucked really bad. So Iceland Air, I know you're not going to listen to this, however, fix your shit. And then on the way home, my monitor didn't work, so I had to raw dog it all the way home. So that was crappy because my cell phone only had so much battery life on it. So it sucked, but whatever, right? Okay, so we fly into Reykjavik. Getting our bags and going through customs was pretty easy. All that, like I said, the rental car people had our little name placard out there. Took us to the rental car place. Getting the rental car was super easy. We got on the rental car. They're like, all right, what the fuck are we going to do? Let's do some shit. So we came out of there, and we saw the volcano. The volcano is not near the airport. Pretty far away. The volcano is about that high off the ground.
22 kilometers.
It is not very tall. We took some pictures of it, and you have to zoom in a lot to see the lava, but we did see it. The first thing we hit was a museum, which is like 10 minutes away from the airport. You remember the name of it?
Viking World.
The Viking World. Online, it was only supposed to be $10 a person. In reality, it was more like $20 or $30 a person. Okay. Right.
We were killing time before we could go into the Airbnb.
Yeah, you get there in the morning. The Airbnb doesn't open up till like 9.
Don't forget to get wine at the airport.
Yeah, we got wine at the airport. A lot of the station YouTube places said that you buy stuff at the airport. So we got a couple bottles of wine there. It was a little bit more expensive than it is here, but not that bad. But the Viking World was pretty cool. They have like a real big ship in there you can go on, check things out. They got like a virtual reality thing. They have a deal where they show the entire history of the Vikings in Iceland and settlements on Iceland and all that stuff. So that was really cool. After that, we drove into Reykjavik, which is about 30, 45 minutes away, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Drove into there and we decided, hey, what are we gonna do? Let's go shopping and all that. So we headed out. No, I think we went right to our Airbnb from there. Went to our Airbnb. We got dressed because like wearing comfy clothes in the airplane. We got dressed and then we went out. So no, we hit. I'm sorry, we hit the grocery store first, and then went to our Airbnb. Mm-hmm. So we went to the grocery store. So there's two major grocery stores in Iceland. One is Bonus with the big pink pig, and the other is
I don't remember.
I don't remember because we never went to it.
We only went to Bonuses.
Yeah, I can't remember. We only went to the Bonuses. If you think of grocery stores in your head right now, you're wrong. You can fit 15 of these stores into one Walmart. It was tiny. There is one, like maybe 6 aisles. It's small. They don't have certain things like garlic salt. They'll have salt and pepper, but they won't have like garlic salt or things like that. A lot of the stuff that we had like planned in our head, they didn't really have. The meat was pretty expensive, so if you're ever planning on steak or anything like that, we did get some hamburger meat to make some pasta. Mm-hmm. But we got pork chops one time. We got like pancake.
Really, really bad pork chops because I couldn't work the stove.
Yeah. We got, let's see, pancake mix and some eggs and bacon, mm-hmm. something like that. And our plan was to eat at the Airbnb a lot more than we did. The problem was we couldn't find the foods that we like to make at home because the stuff that we would get normally at your Walmart or wherever you go, they don't have that there. So it was a little different, but it wasn't that bad. They do have like ice cream and stuff like that, so we were able to get some stuff like that. And like I said, we already had wine, so we were able to make eggs and bacon one morning. And the pancake mix on the box, we have no idea what a deciliter is. Thank God our son is good at math, and he told us what a deciliter was.
Every time we went to cook, it was a process. We had to either do translations, figure out symbols, try to see how something would work. Yeah. We would eat it like a lot later than we thought we would.
It was rough, but you can do it. It's just a little rough. Some of the stoves are was it conduction? What is that?
Convection.
Convection. Yeah. And then the stove top? What was that called? Where you had to have the pan on it for it to work.
I don't know what it's called, but it was.
We kept turning this damn thing on and off, and we're like, "What the fuck? It's not working." We'll come to find out, the pan has to be touching the thing in order for it to get hot. If your pan doesn't touch it, then it won't get hot. So that was a thing. Let's see. So all the cooking aside, we wanted to cook a lot more there. We ended up eating out a lot more. Eating out, the cool thing about Iceland is most of the restaurants, almost all the ones that we went to, either had a pizza or like a cheeseburger option. Mm-hmm. So that was good, with the kids and stuff like that. And every meal started at around $30. So no matter if you get a small pizza or a small cheeseburger or fish and chips or anything like that, you're looking at a minimum of $30. Now, we did splurge one night. I got like some lamb chops, right?
Mm-hmm. That was at Brodalsvik at the fancy restaurant.
I got some lamb chops one time. There was like 3 of them. They were about that big. So I had an appetizer of lamb chops for $50. I don't know. I thought Vikings were like huge people. They're that big. Anyway, so if you're going to go to the Bonus grocery store, just don't expect a lot. Kind of get what you can, get what you know. Like we had eggs and bacon. We know that, right? The bacon was a little bit different, but not bad at all. So we did that. We went to our Airbnb. We changed, and we went out shopping. Obviously, we went shopping in Reykjavik. Kind of looking at everything. The kids had never been there, so we want to show them all the Reykjavik stuff. Mm-hmm. So we went up the main roads. We went up, Rainbow Road. We saw the church, things like that. We went to the Loki Cafe. We had rye bread ice cream, which was really good. It's a little expensive, but it was really good. They take the rye bread that they bake in the ground, mix it with ice cream, serve that. That was really good. Mm-hmm. And then we had a
Some kind of fancy coffee.
Yeah, it was a coffee with had like liquor in it, which was cool because it was like cold and rainy and shitty out. So we had that to warm us up. And that was pretty good. Loki Cafe, it was like a small little kind of like hole in the wall place. It doesn't have very much seating. Real good food though. Let's see. And then we went to at some point in time we went to Thor's gym. We met Thor's dad. I'm gonna throw a picture in here down just for reference. I'm 6'2". His dad is like 17'5". The dude was insane. But that gym was really cool. It's a lot smaller than what it looks like on YouTube. It's kind of like, it reminds me of my gym a little bit. It's kind of small and just fucking full of everything. You got to move shit out of the way just to do stuff. So that was pretty cool.
He was really nice. He showed us around.
Yeah, Thor's dad was awesome. Real good dude. There was some people in there lifting weights and stuff, but yeah, he let us walk around the gym and mess with some stuff and things like that. So it was really cool. It was really cool. Let's see. The next day we woke up not really early, but we woke up a little bit early. The next day was Hoosfellstone. So I'd been training for roughly 7 months ish to pick up this rock. So we drove out there. It was like a 2-hour drive, and we were driving, and then all of a sudden, boom, fuck, there it is. So we were like, all right. So it's literally out in a field. There is nothing around really. It's a sheep's pen, and then there's a rock on the ground. So we pulled up, went over there, checked it out. There it was. I picked it up, took a few steps, put it down, and we're like, all right, fuck, that was easy. A lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And then we went to the Hoosfell Hotel and had a really good lunch. They had like homemade pizza and stuff, and that was really good. Came back and went to, what lagoon is it?
Sky Lagoon.
Went to the Sky Lagoon.
Yes.
There's 2 real popular lagoons around Reykjavik, the Blue Lagoon and the Sky Lagoon. You're going to hear more about the Blue Lagoon because it's the most popular and it was in a movie. However, from all the research we did, it is super packed full of people, and it's lots of like drunk people are there. Put it nicely. So we picked this other one. Let's see. Me and the kids, we go in. You go to separate bathrooms, right, to get ready. The rules are you got to take a shower before you go in the lagoon. Take a shower after you come out of the lagoon, because it's a natural lagoon with natural water in it. They don't want you bringing your bullshit in there. So me and the kids go into our locker room. We get a locker. We throw our swimming trunks on. We walk to the showers. We take the swimming trunks off, take a shower, put them back on, go to the lagoon. She had a little bit different experience.
How long was it that you were waiting for me?
Oh, man, it was a while. We waited in the lagoon for a while.
That's because I was running around not knowing what to do in the locker room. I just couldn't wrap my brain around the fact that they expected us to all be naked in front of each other and then go and take the shower and no access to any towel until after you go into the lagoon and then come back out.
Very European.
So I even asked these ladies that were from another country in Europe if that was the thing. Like, I just have to take everything off and then in front of everybody running around naked. And they're like, oh yeah, just have fun.
So there she was in the buff. So then she came out, told us, we're like, we did not do that. We just put our shit on, took a shower, and then we went in here. So anyway, so we go into the Sky Lagoon. It's supposed to be this natural rock, beautiful place. I'm not going to lie, the lagoon was...
I think it's man-made, but the water is natural.
Yeah.
The water is natural.
It was like lukewarm bath water. It was not hot.
It's about 4 feet deep, maybe.
Yeah, 4 feet deep. It was not hot at all. And then there's some fat fuck asshole who has a goddamn snorkel snorkeling around in the lagoon. The only motherfucker that has a snorkel, by the way. The only motherfucker that's swimming. Everybody else is like chilling, having their drinks, doing whatever. And then this fuck. And he's an American to boot. So a big, giant, fucking fat American. It was fucking weird. And then we saw a bunch of girls, like, it has like a infinity pool type of deal. So they were like showing their asses off and like having their friend take pictures, like an Instagram model's dream over there.
It was a very Instagram-filled
It was fucking weird.
Trip in a lot of the popular places, for sure.
It was very strange. I didn't like it that much. The kids didn't think it was all that great.
It was beautiful.
It was. It was
beautiful. An infinity end, and it was pretty looking out over the...
Yeah, you looked into the ocean.
They had a swim-up bar. It really wasn't a place where we would be going and drinking when we had our sons with us. But,
right.
And there was still some drunk people there, too.
There was. Like I said, lukewarm bath water, and Yeah. Anyways, we go back. We get some sleep. Day 3. I guess our we should talk about our Airbnb. Our Airbnb in Reykjavik was a little bit like 15, 20 minutes away from downtown.
Yeah,
Not that
about
bad.
15 minutes.
It was a nice little 2-bedroom.
The reason why is because all the Airbnbs in Reykjavik would have required stairs, climbing
Yeah.
with our bags up and down, walking in weird areas, or trying to drag luggage. Parking sucks.
Yep.
So
This
we
place,
just wanted to
yeah.
have an easy place to park, easy get in and out, quiet neighborhood, 2 bedrooms.
Yeah,
washer
20
and
minutes from
dryer.
downtown.
So
No issues. Everything was cool. Had Netflix and stuff.
it was a
Everything
cute
was good.
little
Yeah.
cabin.
Let's see. So day 3, we wake up. We went to bake bread in the ground.
Mhm.
If you don't know, Iceland is famous for this because they have geothermal stuff. The water gets to about 200 degrees. So they take a pan, put some dough in there. They leave it there for about 24 hours. Excuse me, and it makes rye bread.
Mhm.
We got there. They showed us the process. They pulled one that they had put in yesterday. Pulled it out.
A little bit here, and if you come close to me, you will see how it's working. Yeah. So it's working properly well, I would say. This is 100 degrees. So here you can boil eggs.
Went back. The guy opened it up fresh for us, sliced some stuff. They had butter and they had fresh fish that you could have with it. So our oldest son loved it. He loved the bread, loved the fish. Was it salmon?
Trout.
Trout.
Mm-hmm.
So fresh trout, right from the lake that by where the bread was being baked. So he absolutely loved it. I just had it with butter. It was really good. I didn't mind it at all. They called it sweet bread.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Sweet
youngest
rye.
son
Sweet rye.
called it dirt bread. He fucking hated it.
He said it made a taste of dirt in the back of his throat.
He was not happy with the dirt bread.
And the guy said it was cake-like, so that put a thought in his mind that it was going to be like cake.
He was not fucking happy.
Was,
He's like, "Fuck you and your dirt bread."
You could
How
see it
about
on
that,
his
pal?
face.
So anyway, we had our dirt bread, and we went and right near that is the geyser. Remember what geyser is called? Let's see. We made this itinerary.
I made it.
We made the itinerary. What we were doing every day. So this would be day like 3. Baked bread and ground, national, the Great Geyser.
Great Geyser.
Original name. We went to the Great Geyser. So we get to the souvenir shop. We go in there. We get there and it's fucking raining and shitty out. Do the souvenir shop for a little bit. We walk out. All of a sudden, boom, sun comes out. We literally walk up to the geyser. As soon as we get there, like, fuck, all right, we're done. And we leave. And as soon as we start leaving, it starts raining again.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. We were there so little. We didn't get a video. We didn't get a picture.
I got almost not a video of the blast itself, but of the area.
But yeah, we went up there, got blasted by a geezer, and then that was it. From there, we went to the national park, where we went back to the Silver Crack where we went snorkeling before. If you don't know, the Silver Crack is in between the 2 tectonic plates of Europe and North America, fed by glacier water, and you can go snorkeling in there. You can see like fucking forever. It's super, super clear, super awesome. It's beautiful. We went to the little couple things there.
The Parliament.
The original Parliament for Iceland. That was cool. Got a speeding ticket. So I did not know this, but they have cameras that do the speeding thing, right? Apparently, if you actually pay attention, there's a sign that says, "Hey, there's a speed trap coming. Slow the fuck down." Mm-hmm. I didn't pay attention. So like 3 days later, we get this email. "Hey, bitch, you were speeding. You owe us money." So I had to fucking pay like $110. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, don't do that.
Also, the parking in the national park,
yep.
They zap your license plate going in, and you don't really know it, and if you don't understand that you're supposed to pay, you may not see the pay signs, and you may park, and then some days later get a ticket for it.
Yeah.
So we didn't realize. And so we got on a website like the day after we went there and paid
Yeah.
our parking a day later, and they were fine with
Yeah,
that.
they were good. It was all
Yeah.
good to go. Let's see, pay her speeding. And then we
That was
got
at Pingviller National Park.
yeah, Pingvilla. So we did the national park. We drove around, saw the sights. We went to one of the canyons.
We
walked
saw
in
a cool waterfall.
Yeah, a little waterfall in the canyon. We're like, all right, cool. So we go, we eat dinner, we go back to the Airbnb. Then she gets a phone call from one of her old people that she used to work with in her old job, who is from Iceland, lives there. He's like, hey, if you guys are like going north, you need to leave like today because there's a huge storm coming. We were actually planning to stay another day in Reykjavik and do some more stuff, but you got to be ready for stuff, and plans change. So
we had to get north. We couldn't get blocked from getting north.
Yeah, we talked to we called our Airbnb guy up north, and he said, yeah, you can come a day early. You just maybe the sheets are in the dryer. You may have to do the beds. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So we hauled ass, and the way we took was not your typical just drive up. We went all the way around because over on this peninsula there are these things called the Dripvik stones on the black sand beach, and I wanted to lift up some more rocks. And also there is a mountain there. Let's see, what's the mountain called?
Kyrkjafell.
That is a mountain from Game of Thrones that has like 3 little waterfalls in it. So we drove up there. It was actually really beautiful when we got over there. It was super lovely.
Awesome.
I was actually in a t-shirt doing the stones. Went to the black sand beach. That was really cool. Saw the mountain, did the waterfall. Met this Russian chick who owned a gas station, gave us some hot dogs. Yeah. And then we drove over to Akiri.
There were 4 stones, and the boys were able to get the second stone, the first and the second stone. So they were half carriers.
Yep. They were able to do some fish stuff.
They were able to carry a fish, but not allowed to be oarsmen or fishermen.
Yeah, and I think that was like 110 pounds, I want to say, something like that.
Yeah.
115 pounds. So we saw this mountain, and then we drove on a 5-hour journey to Akiri. This 5-hour journey was, let me back up. We found out that in Iceland, they did not get hard ball roads until 1960. So up until 1960s, these fucking people were driving on grass. Okay. So some of the roads are not done yet. They're still gravel. They're still shitty. The route we took was like half good, half bad, half shitty. It was a mess. We were going down some gravel roads that were pretty sketchy. We found out that day that there are 1-lane bridges all over this fucking island. You just drive around a corner and all of a sudden there's a bridge. The road goes like that. And you're like, what the fuck? So that weirded us out a little bit. But we got through. We got up to Akiri, got to our Airbnb, a nice little Airbnb place that had a hot tub right inside of it. And no later did we get there, that night it started snowing. And it didn't stop for about 3 days. So we went up there. We saw a bunch of sheep and stuff on the way. That was cool. We got up there. The very first night, we were like, well, let's get in the hot tub. Hot tub did not work. So we called our dude, the guy who owns the place, who was in where?
Norway.
He was in Norway. He called the Airbnb people. They sent out 2 dudes at 9 o'clock at night and fixed the hot tub. Pretty awesome. We're like, hey, we're here. We've been around for a few days. Let's wash our clothes. So we tried washing our clothes, and we found out and why those guys were there. We were like, hey, can you guys help us out here? Well, the dryer was from Sweden, and the washer was from Finland. So we had no fucking idea how to wash clothes.
The symbols were all something I'd never seen before.
We tried to use like Google Translate on the phones and all this other stuff. Nothing worked.
Our older son was trying to help me.
It was horrible. So we finally had to like just put in the way it is, like in our phone and Google, and then it came out with like some of the words. It was fucking horrible. We finally figured it out. That was cool. We made some pasta. We went to the grocery store before we got there. We made some pasta that night. That was the place that like the pan had to be on there. We couldn't figure that out.
The burner would shut off if the pan was lifted up.
It was weird. But The place was small but really beautiful.
It was the coolest Airbnb I thought of
It
all
was
the ones we stayed in.
3-bedroom.
Yeah.
The whole front was all glass. You could see all into the fjord and everything.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
Yeah, we took the boys to an outdoor swimming pool there, even though the snow had come in.
Well, that was the next day.
Oh, sorry.
Because we woke up the next day and there was a
Ahead.
shitload of snow. So we're like, oh, well.
Right.
We were supposed to go to the Arctic Circle.
Oh, yeah.
The Arctic Circle is on Grimsby?
Grimsby Island.
Grimsby.
And you have to take a ferry, and the ferry ride is 3 hours.
You take a 3-hour ferry ride.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, well, we could just
one
go.
Way.
Yeah, 3 hours one way. So we were like, we could just go. We can go to the Arctic Circle. Well, then we went to this website that tells you all the weather stuff, and there was 15-foot swells and 40-mile-an-hour gusts of wind.
And our friend has a contact at the transportation department that he was asking for us to about how it was doing.
And he gave us the website to go to, and there is like cameras on Grimsby Island, and you can just see the wind and the snow fucking blowing.
It's a 1.5 mile walk from where the boat lands to the monument for the Arctic Circle.
And I'm like, I A, don't want to be like Gilligan's Island, and B, don't want to be like the fucking Titanic. So fuck every bit of that. We're not doing that. We're not jumping on a ferry at 15-foot swells.
It wouldn't have been enjoyable.
Fuck that. So we didn't do that. We got snowed in.
They didn't cancel the ferry, though.
No, those motherfuckers rolled out, but we were not on there.
We were not on it.
So we stayed in. She took the kids to the Iceland's largest water slide, right?
So it was like a swimming pool, water park, small little like water park thing with water slides, and the stairs going up were enclosed so that the kids could stay warm when they were getting. Yep. All the water was heated. So it was kind of interesting because it was snowing and they were swimming.
One of the other things we want to do is we wanted to go to the Europe's most powerful waterfall. Has more the volume of water.
Dettifoss.
It's the biggest waterfall in Iceland. We never got to go there because the road was closed because all the snow. We did venture out one of those days. We went up to
Husavik.
Yeah, Husavik. The roads were pretty bad, but we did get to go see one waterfall. When we went out there, the wind was pretty horrible. Do you remember what waterfall it was?
I was just looking to see.
Husavik's right there.
Godafoss.
So we did that. That was cool. The roads were kind of shitty, So we got snowed in basically for 3 days. We ventured out and even into town. The wind was so bad in town, it sucked. What was pretty cool is when we went to the other city, they actually have this road and you're going in a tunnel. No big deal, right? Well, then I'm looking on our GPS and we're actually going underneath the ocean.
Under the fjord.
It went all the way under the fjord and then back up. So instead of building a bridge, they built a fucking death tunnel that all the water would go into and you would just die. I don't know why they did that and why the bridges are hated so much, but they did that. And then we had to go in that tunnel like fucking 4 times. It was crazy. Oh, we went to a Christmas place too over there.
Yeah, like a Christmas shop.
Yeah, I had a whole bunch of Christmas stuff. And then the day came and was like, hey, we got to leave. Our Airbnb's up. We got to haul ass over. And Grimsby Island is famous for their puffins. So she missed out on her puffins. So she found a place up in the northeast of Iceland that has fucking puffins. So we did a 3-hour detour.
Well, if you didn't get this, we came from Reykjavik and we were going north.
I'll put it on a map.
East, south, and then back to Reykjavik. So it was on the way.
3 hours out of the way. Hour and a half up, hour and a half down. Anyways, on the way there, we went and saw the grotto, right?
From Game of Thrones, where Jon Snow and Ygritte.
Nothing. Jon Snow got it on. The grotto was like this big. Like I couldn't even stand up in the fucking thing. Like it was that small. So literally just B-roll. But we went there, whatever. We also went to the canyon. What canyon was that? The big ass canyon? Where we went on the stairs and went all the way down. Studelovit Canyon, or I don't know what it was called.
What day? Oh, Studlagill.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Studlagill.
Yeah, so you could hike it, but we did not hike it.
No, we didn't hike it. The wind was horrible. The canyon was super cool, but we did not hike it. We just drove, walked down a whole shitload of stairs, got pictures, walked up a shitload of stairs.
Mhm.
And then we went to the Puffins, and we drove all the way up to this Puffin Island,
Yeah, Puffin Rock,
Puffin Rock.
Hafnerholme, and that was total.
It
That was an audible. We called that as an audible, so we didn't have any plans.
Yep.
We had to figure it out along the way.
So to get to Puffin Rock, we had to go over some mountain passes, like fucking legit mountain passes. And we're from Colorado, so
yeah,
we
on
know some
dirt,
mountain
wet
passes.
dirt, wet.
This was like some pretty legit gravel dirt road mountain passes in a fucking Toyota RAV4.
Beautiful.
It was insanely beautiful, a little sketchy, insanely beautiful. Really wish I'd had my pickup truck, but whatever. But we saw driving over there. It was not on the regular road, so we didn't have very much concrete. It was mostly gravel road over there. But what we saw like a million sheep. We saw wild reindeer. We saw all kinds of cool shit like that, which was really neat.
Tons of Icelandic horses.
Yeah, horses, all that stuff. So that was really cool. Their sheep basically roam free, and they spray paint them a little bit, and then they go find them when it's time to fucking
I really
shear
wanted
them.
to pet the sheep.
She tried petting sheep. Sheep
I
were
just
not
wanted
friendly.
to give them a strawberry.
I wanted the sheep to like ram her. They didn't. I was like, "Fuck sheep, come on." But we got up close to personal with some at the rock, but
they're
not dogs.
They're half wild.
She's like, "Come here." They're not dogs. They're not cats. Not you, dog. Nope. Stay. Let's see. And then we drove to our hotel. We got into our hotel right before dinner time. Where was that at?
In Brdalsvik, and that was where we ate at the nice restaurant.
Yeah, which was the hotel restaurant.
Yeah.
We got there right before dinner time. Really nice hotel. We had to get 2 rooms, one for us, one for the boys. But the rooms were nice and big. It was like an older hotel, it looked like.
Yeah.
Really cool. The restaurant was really nice. And that's when we found out that almost all the people that work in Iceland at all these touristy places, none of them are from Iceland. They're all from like Eastern Bloc countries, former Soviet Union countries. And they just go there for the summer and work there and then go back home. We stayed there one night, woke up at the butt crack of dawn the next morning, and started driving. So we went from Reykjavik all the way up to Akiri, all the way over here. And we have this part left. So we're in the southeast. So we get up, we drive, we stop at the Viking Cafe, which is another YouTuber talked about it.
He saw a waffle that looked
it looked good.
fantastic.
So I wanted a waffle. I had a waffle. The kids had waffles.
Everyone had waffles.
Everybody had waffles. They're not very filling. They're really thin. You have to get 3 of them. Just saying. But we also saw those people with the fucking campers. So one thing that we tossed around was, hey, should we get one of these big vans and just stay in one of these vans and go camping? Well, on the way around, we saw some of these vans in the ditch on the side of the road because they slid off because they were trying to drive in the snow like idiots. Well, then we saw the humans that occupied these vans because we got at the Viking Cafe right before it opened.
They had a campground there.
It opened at like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and they had a little bit of campground. And we get there and we have to go to the bathroom, right? So we walk in the bathroom, we saw these motherfucking campers. They look like death fucking rolled over. They were busted. They were not looking good. And I was like, well, I'm glad we don't look like these motherfuckers because shitty night's sleep.
It was rough.
Stuck in their vans all day because of the weather.
Yeah. If we would have been trapped in a van for 2
with
days.
2 kids, I would have killed all 3 of you guys.
It would have been bad.
Terrible. So we played our cards smart. We said, hey, we're old now. We don't need to be doing that dumb shit. So we stayed in Airbnbs and hotels. Whew, that was a good one. Let's see. Also, so from there we went to Diamond Beach, which Diamond Beach is glacier fed, and pieces of the glacier break off and they wash up on the beach and they look like big pieces of diamond. That was cool. Again, a bunch of 1-lane bridges. We went to the Black Sand Beach, which is
Rainisfera.
That thing in Vic.
From Game of Thrones.
It's where they got the dragon glass. So I'll put up these things, but there's formations.
Basalt columns.
They are cool as shit. Never seen them before in my life.
It doesn't look like it would come out in nature.
Yeah,
it looks
very
made.
Cool. This is also a place, if you look it up on YouTube, look up Dangerous Beach in Iceland, and they have what they call sneak waves. So you're like this, oh, look at this, a black sand beach, it's all pretty. And then a fucking wave. And there's a video on there where the wave takes out like 30 people. It's hilarious. So all the beaches in Iceland are black sand beaches, all of them. They're all fucking cool as shit. They're not like sand like we're thinking sand. This is volcanic, rocks that get washed up on the beach. So they're like little pebbles. Fucking cool as shit. We went to Skogafoss and the other waterfall.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We went to the big one and the one you can walk in.
Seljenfoss.
Seljenfoss.
That's the one that you can walk behind.
We saw Vesterhorn Mountain. That was cool.
That was by the Viking Cafe.
Yep. That was really neat. So one of the waterfalls is just there. The other one, you can actually walk like behind it and like take pictures behind it. And
the
stuff like that.
Skogafoss one was also in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so we'll put all that in. That's like one where the dragons first started flying.
Yeah, when they flew over it. Yeah.
So we saw all that. That was cool. And we went on to our final Airbnb, which is on the Golden Circle. Our final Airbnb was a little like actual cabin
by the town of Selfoss.
And we had a little hot tub there. It was all right. It wasn't bad. It was small. It was really small, but it was okay. Again, we went and got some food and stuff like that.
Everyone still had their own bedroom.
Yeah, everybody still had their own bedroom, so that was cool. So day 10, we ventured out in the morning, went to Carrot Crater, which is a huge crater, which is kind of cool because they don't have government oversight like we do. So there was no like concrete walkways, or there was fence.
Essentially, if you weren't typically bodied, you were not going to be able to attend the crater.
If you were handy-capable in any way, shape, or form, you weren't going anywhere. And also, if you fell down and died, like they didn't give a fuck. There was no handrails. There was no nothing. They just like, whatever, figure it out, bitch.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. The crater was neat. After that, we drove to Gagin. That's what I said. Which was in Game of Thrones. That's where Arya and the Hound had their little sword fight.
She was doing her water dance.
Yeah.
They call it the multi-waterfall.
It was really cool. Gravel roads for a long ways out there.
It was worth it though.
It was
like
really
a mile and a half walk, and we really enjoyed it.
It was really cool. Right after that, we went to the first settlement. It's a recreation of the first settlement in Iceland. So it's like grass houses and shit. That was really neat. We saw that.
Learned about Vikings.
Yep.
And how they did stuff.
From there, we went to the Secret Lagoon, another lagoon. Now, the Secret Lagoon is interesting because on the websites and on people's YouTubes, it would appear that this lagoon is in the middle of a fucking field. And you have to like secretly know its location and walk over there, and you get in, you're all by your lonesome, and you're like, the lagoon. In fucking real life, there is charter buses that stop there and let people off. And it's not very much of a secret at all.
So it's like 3.5 feet deep.
Yeah, and it got formed in 1940. And so it's the oldest lagoon in Iceland from the fucking 40s. I know, it's stupid. But
and there's like this cool old little building right next to it.
It was horrible.
The getting into that one was worse for me, for the women, than Sky Lagoon.
We had community showers.
It was all open. Yeah, in Sky Lagoon, at least there were some doors around the showers, even though you had to walk to it totally naked anyway. Yeah,
so same thing. We got our stuff. We went, took showers, got in immediately. So this is a natural lagoon, right? So it's got moss everywhere.
Yeah, algae.
And there's pieces of stuff floating everywhere. And I'll put some pictures in here. And
Braden was not pleased.
My oldest son was like, fuck this. He stayed in there until mom came out, and he's like, I'm fucking out.
He looked at me and he goes, I'm not enjoying myself.
So both our kids left. They're like, fuck you, we're gone. We stayed out there for like 10 more minutes, and then we left.
We were like, we paid for these tickets. We're going to try and use the time that we had.
It was not good. It was kind of shitty.
What the thing that I really realized about this was I thought along this route around the whole island, the ring road, that we were going to be able to go to lagoons whenever we wanted, that there was small ones. It seems like from the YouTube videos, they're everywhere. You can just walk to it. You don't have to pay, or it's like cheap, $8, something, whatever. No, all the ones I could find, it was like a 3 kilometer walk just to get to it. So you put on your swim stuff and then park, drive pretty far, and then walk far to get to it. So nothing was really as accessible on a road trip like ours, unless you had extra days to attend them. So I was really bummed that we didn't get to go to just a random hot springs around the island. That's not how it worked.
No, not at all.
No.
Freya, place.
The only hot springs were Sky Lagoon and Secret Lagoon, Braden's favorite.
Yeah, so that was we ended that day at Secret Lagoon. We drove back. We were like, well, that sucked. And then the kids jumped in our hot tub and stayed in there. And we watched we made dinner and watched a movie. Mm-hmm. And that was about it. So the next day, day 11. So day 11 and 12 were things we wanted to do that were not
free or cheap.
And not Icelandic specific, right? Yeah. Everywhere you go in Iceland, you either have to pay to go into the waterfall or pay to park, right? Yeah. One of the two, you have to do this. This day, we went paragliding. We actually, so you have like the black sand beach where the sneak waves are, and then you have these 3 like things that come up out of the water that's really cool. Mm-hmm. And then right over here, you got this giant 900-foot cliff. We paraglided off of that over the city of Vik.
All of us.
It was awesome. It was really cool. The guys there was 2 paraglide drivers, instructors, whatever. They took us up 2 at a time. Me and my youngest son, we went up first. Mm-hmm. They had GoPros and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Basically, you just harness in, you run off the cliff, and you paraglide down. Yeah. And then my guy was like doing some cool spins and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then you land in the soccer field, the little soccer field by the school. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool. You get like, what, 5 minutes maybe? 4 minutes? Something like that?
No, it felt like it was longer.
It felt like it was longer, but in reality it wasn't like super long.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because you could see the whole ocean. Mm-hmm. You could see the city. You could see like the black sand beach and stuff like that.
Vik.
When I went, there was horseback riding on the beach. There was like a group of people with horses on the beach. That was really cool. And then we paraglided right in. I'm the only one that stuck my landing. Thank you.
Everybody else fell.
Everybody else fucking ate shit. Yeah. I will put some videos in there. They're hilarious. Then these 2 drove up. Her and my oldest son went up, and you could hear her screaming from fucking 900 fucking feet up. Ah! Wah!
Then it turned to laughter.
Not even joking. 900-foot cliff, screaming. You could hear it all the way down. Crazy. Anyway, so we did that. As soon as we got done with that, we went ziplining. Mm-hmm. So right when you come into Vik, you go over a mountain and you drive all the way down into the town of Vik by the ocean.
To the coast.
So we took a bus like halfway up this road and then ziplined all the way down this canyon that's right by the road. The canyon was made by this giant volcano the last time it went off, a couple hundred years ago. We made this canyon and we went ziplining through it. That was really cool too. I thought.
I liked that a lot. That was, I think, our youngest son's favorite part.
Yeah, he loved it. Everybody loved the ziplining. It was really fun for everybody. Together, we bought them both together. They were how much?
For the zipline and the paraglide?
Yeah.
For both. For 4 people for each, it was $900.
For 4 people. $900 for 4 people.
To do both.
To do both of them. And that was what? Do you remember what company it was from?
True Adventure.
There you go. So, totally recommend it. It seems a little expensive, but it was really cool. It really was. And
it was the only thing we really splurged on.
Yeah. And then at the end of that, they kind of tell you where a couple places to go eat and stuff. So we went up, had some lunch, and then we did a little shopping. We went back to our town by our Airbnb and did some shopping, sightseeing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then day 12, our last day pretty much in Iceland, we did horseback riding. So these Icelandic horses are very special because one, they're fucking teeny tiny. We both grew up riding horses. Our American horses are not even huge in comparison to some other like Arabian horses. But our American horses, at least my legs don't drag on the ground
They're little.
when I ride them.
They're small, but their hearts are big.
Yes. So these little bitty Icelandic horses, first of all, they're super cool because they're about as tall as I am. And we got on them, and our youngest son was like John Wayne. That little dude was all over it. He was.
Neither one of them ever been on a horse before.
Yeah, neither one of them ever like rode. They were on. Well, they were real little, but they don't remember it.
Yeah.
But neither one of them actually, by themselves ever rode a horse. And then our youngest son like took to that shit like, oh dude, it was awesome. Straight up John Wayne. He raced everybody. He wanted to be first everywhere. When it was time to gallop, that dude. It was awesome. So we did that. That was fun. We did that for a few hours. So that was really cool. We got done with that, and then we went to your tomato restaurant, right?
Fridomar. I think Fridomar.
Was that the tomato restaurant?
Yep.
So that was someplace that you wanted to go for some weird reason.
We saw it on one of the YouTubes.
She saw it on a YouTube. So we went to the tomato restaurant. She said we had a reservation. We did. The fucking day before. We were a day late. So we did not have a reservation.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to eat outside.
They had heaters.
They had heaters. We had to eat outside.
Everything was made from tomatoes.
Every fucking thing.
So they had tomato soup and then a full big bar of different homemade breads. That was the best part. Nothing else was that great according to the men in my life.
I tried getting pasta because you're thinking, oh, you got sauce. It's got tomato sauce. The pasta was not all that great. The pizza looked okay, but like they had big pieces of tomato on there, and our kids were not fond of that. So the tomato place, it was very expensive.
There was Bloody Marys. We had that, of course, and then there was desserts like tomato apple pie and
tomato ice cream.
Tomato espressos. Yeah.
It was pretty expensive, and it was not all that great. So the next morning we woke up early, drove about an hour or so over to the rental car place. Turned in the rental car. When the lady went out there, to look at it, she was like, "Man, you guys, we put over 4,000 kilometers on there, which is a little over 2,500 miles." And she said that she has not seen somebody drive that much in a car since she's worked there. So that was cool. And then we flew home, and that was, on the flight home, like I said, I had to raw dog it because my thing didn't work. But other than that, all that stuff was pretty, ordinary, I guess.
Yeah.
So takeaways, let's see. The landscape is more than beautiful. I cannot even begin to express the beauty of Iceland.
There isn't a place that you can look where you're not seeing something beautiful, no matter where you are. Glaciers, we saw multiple glaciers, huge glaciers.
Oh, dude,
snowy capped mountains, green capped mountains,
fjords everywhere,
fjords, black sand, farms that were just
huge fields that had either horses and sheep in there, along with all kinds of volcanic rocks everywhere.
Yeah,
it was
stunning.
It was amazing. I've been a lot of places in my life, and I tell you what, that was definitely in the top 5, top 3, maybe top number 1. We drove almost everywhere on that island because everywhere we'd stay, we'd drive inland and do something, then drive back out. And it was amazing. I can't begin to explain it, and the pictures that I put on here will not do it justice. There was just, everything was just unbelievable. It really was. Once you get a little bit older and you can enjoy that stuff, unlike our kids who slept a lot, it was just fucking amazing. And everywhere you went, you're like, wow, look at that. Wow, look at that. And you're taking pictures and filming it. It was just cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. The food, like I said, the food is a little bit expensive. You're looking at a starting price of around $30 per meal, not to include drinks. Water is cheap and free and really good. You don't need to buy water, like bottles of water. Don't do that.
That's how they know you're American. That is true from the
Yeah.
other YouTubes we watched.
Yeah, don't buy bottles of water. That's just dumb.
Mhm.
Wi-Fi is damn near everywhere. Like I said, get the one in your rental car. That one worked
It
awesome.
was worth every penny.
The little lamb hot dogs are pretty good. They're not everywhere. They have regular ones and ones wrapped with bacon on them. Try them both. The stones there are very heavy and very fucking awkward. So if you go there to lift up stones, just be prepared for that. They look small and they're just really fucking dense, some little sons of bitches. So train for them and go there and have fun. The people there were all super awesome. The only rude person we ever even saw there was in the Hoosfell Cafe. He was an Indian
I wondered
dude.
if you were going to mention
Dot, not Feather. And he was rude to the lady who was working there. He was just a total dickhead. That was the only rude person we saw. Everywhere else, even though like
he was like yelling at her, it's the only reason we noticed.
Yeah, he was just a dick. Even though like sometimes I would screw up on driving and I'd be like, I'm sorry, get honked at. You know, if I did this, like I'm sorry, they're like, fucking tourist, fuck that guy. We didn't notice their driving was a little sketch. You know, they just got roads, so you got to give them a break, I guess. So their driving is a little sketchy. Just be prepared for that. You're not going to know all your exits and all your signs and everything, and sometimes your GPS takes you to the wrong spot. So, you know, be prepared for all that. Be prepared to change plans and watch the weather. If you're going to go there, I think no matter the season, take multiple kinds of clothing, multiple layers. A ring jacket and a winter jacket at the bare minimum. Because everywhere, you know, you could go up north, it could be chilly, it could be cold, and you could get snowed on any time of the year.
Yeah, the blizzard was really atypical. It was not something that typically happens. The first week of June, my friend and colleague who lives there said, he was like trying to be apologetic. I'm like, it's not your fault. You don't have to apologize for your country's weather. It's okay.
It rained on us a lot, though. We had a couple nice days out of the 12 days we were there. We had 2 or 3 really nice days, and the rest of the days it was rainy or snowy.
Very light, misty, somewhat borderline nice
just
days.
to piss you off.
Yeah.
So
but that didn't really bother me that much.
And it was windy all the time.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went was pretty windy. Let's see. As far as photography goes, I was going to bring my drone, but everywhere said no drones, so I'm glad I didn't bring it. I think there was only 1 or 2 places you could do a drone. We saw a guy try to do a drone in one of the canyons.
Stoodled Canyon.
And his drone was like it was so windy he couldn't get his drone up, and so I'm glad I didn't bring it.
Yeah, that's true.
Cash, you really don't need it. You can bring a little bit of cash if you want.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about converting.
You pay for everything either with your card or on an app with the phone. There's no tipping. The tip is included in the price of food, so you don't tip there.
That's why it's so much more, one of the reasons.
Yeah, as with most of Europe, it's kind of like that. They have the tap system with your card, you know, which works way better than it does here. I was just at 7-Eleven, you know, this morning, and it sucked. So tap system over there works great. Anywhere around the Golden Circle or Reykjavik, about an hour away from Reykjavik, there are going to be a million people. There are tourist buses that take people out there. And so just be...
So when they're doing their 1 or 2 day stopovers, they're getting on the bus and going to whatever they can that's within 1 to 2 hours of the
They're
city.
doing 18 hours of whatever they can do. And
they're going south most of the time or around Reykjavik.
All the pictures that you see were very strategic, not to get too many people in there. And that's the way everybody does it, like on Instagram or YouTube. All the people do that, right? So just be prepared. The only place that didn't hardly have anybody were the Dritvik stones, because it's so far out of the way.
Plus Puffin Rock and like northeastern area.
There wasn't very many people there. But so anywhere around Reykjavik's going to be a lot of people. The airplane, like the plane that crashed, I don't see any reason to go there. It's just a fucking airplane that crashed a long time ago. Now it's just like part of a body of an airplane. We
considered that like a waste of some of our time.
And it was expensive.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that. Anyways. The sneak waves, we did see a little bit of a sneak wave in Dritvik.
Where we had to run a little bit.
Yep. We had to back up a little bit. So beware of that. They can sneak up on you and they will get you. So watch that. The volcano, don't worry about that. The Blue Lagoon might be closed for the volcano, but more than likely not.
The only thing that it did was affect the airport by taking away hot water. You could get cold water, but not hot water.
Yeah.
For a short period, not when we were there.
Yeah. So, I mean, even there. The airport has a lot of construction going on, but the airport's pretty nice. It really is.
It is. It gets nicer every time we go
Yep.
through it, I think.
Other than that, like, I would say that if you're gonna plan a trip somewhere and you just want to go to like one place and do things, dude, Iceland's pretty awesome. Even if you only stay in Reykjavik and just do things in Reykjavik or right near Reykjavik, you can take a bus and do things, and you can have little tour guides that will take you and tell you.
If you were going to do a week, Reykjavik in the south gets a lot of the stuff you'd want to see.
But the north was really fucking cool. The fjords and the mountains up north, dude. I mean, unbelievable. The whole place is unbelievable. It's fucking beautiful as it can be. Like this map, when you look at these maps, and you're like, oh, look, a giant glacier. That glacier, what they say, is 700 feet thick, something like that. 700 meters thick, so super fucking thick. And what happens is when the volcano starts getting hot underneath of it, all of a sudden they have flash floods everywhere and all kinds of other crazy shit. And like it's just, the place is unbelievable. And if you're gonna go, do yourself and do Iceland justice by driving around. Don't just stay in one place, because it's fucking amazing.
If we could have done anything different, I would have wanted to stay longer.
Yeah, there was we didn't go up on the far northwest part. There's another little peninsula that has more stones. I would like to go up there.
Vesterlands or something. I think.
Yeah, I would like to go up there. And then, we didn't get to do a couple of the other things we wanted to do. So a couple more days we could have done it. Yeah, a couple more days we could have done everything, and it'd have been really cool. So we could have done a 3-week trip, and we wouldn't have been so rushed, driving. Oh, dude, it's just, can't say any more good stuff about it. If you have any questions about anything Iceland, like I said, we stayed there for almost 2 weeks, a full 2 weeks, and drove a lot. Used and abused that rental car. I mean, used and abused it. So we have a little bit of knowledge about what happens there, what's going on, and a little bit of knowledge about the towns. If you have any questions about, really anything there, we still have our map that we tagged everywhere. We still have our, our little itinerary that, she made and printed out. We still even have, Pingvellir National Park. There's the Silver Crack right there. We still got all that stuff. So if you have any questions, drop them below. That's about it. You got anything else?
I do not.
All right, that's it. Have fun.